So to start with paper 1, please make sure that you read the instruction page very carefully and learn how to manage your time. So it will be stated in the paper how much time is allocated for each section. Please stick to that time, and if you find that you're running out of time, leave some blank spaces and go on to the next section. Remember that section B, your summary, is where you can score marks. It is very doable to get 10 out of 10 for a summary if you follow the right method. So make sure that you stick to the time and that you don't spend too long on questions that you are struggling with. So when you start reading your comprehension passage, try to use a strategy. Look at the title. See if you can understand the title. The title is going to give you a clue about what this article is about. So if you look at the title of last year's November paper, it is the age of intimacy famine. So if you understand the word famine, it means starvation or hunger, and intimacy means close connection. Then you can understand what this article is going to be about. Then you go on and you read the introduction. The main topic of the article can usually be found in the introduction. And then you can go on and read the conclusion and check whether the conclusion links up with the introduction of the article. And after that, you can go through the article very carefully. If there are words that you don't understand, don't worry about that. You can still try to understand the basic meaning of each paragraph. So if you can get the meaning and not every single word, you will still be able to answer the questions. Have a look at question number 1. Read the question very well. Whenever you read a comprehension question, you should try to highlight the key words so you know what you are answering in that question. Have a look at the memo on the answer and take careful note that if you do not use your own words, if you take the quotation directly from the passage, you lose half the marks. So try as far as possible to always answer everything in your own words. Please read question 1.2 and 1.3 and have a look at the answer on the memo. So particularly question 1.3, account for means to explain why. And here they're asking account for the single line paragraph. So remember, as we went through Life of Pi, we looked at style. So this is a style question. And when there is a short sentence or a single line paragraph, it emphasizes something. So if you get asked a question like this, please look at what is being emphasized and explain what is being emphasized. 1.4 is a standard comprehension question. It is a diction question. It will also be asked in paper 2, in your poetry, in your contextual question. Diction means choice of words. So which words have been chosen? Please follow a method in answering this type of question. When you are asked diction, please look at how many marks it's for. If it is for 3 marks, you need to quote 3 separate words. and explain each one. Sometimes you might be quoting two words together, like separation anxiety or skin to screen bonding, which are terms. In a diction answer, you will not be quoting an entire sentence or a long piece from the passage. It will be two words at the most. So please take note, take it point by point. You can line your points up one under the other and quote, explain, quote, explain, quote, explain in order to get the full marks for this question. Please read the question as well as the memo answer. Note that you get 1 mark for explaining the theory and you get a full 3 marks if the theory is discussed in terms of relationships. So that shows you the importance of highlighting key words in your question and responding to all the keywords in your answer. Question 1.6 is about a paradox. So remember that a paradox contains a contradiction. So what is a contradiction? A contradiction is when you use opposites together so that one idea cancels out the other idea. So have a look at the example in blue. That is an example of a paradox. A paradox is a contradiction, but that contradiction contains a very wise truth about life. If you look at the memo answer, the part in green is identifying the paradox. So you first need to say what the paradox is, and then you need to discuss it or explain it. So you should be able to get some marks for this question if you can at least just explain what the actual paradox is. Question 1.7 is a critically discuss question. Please remember that critically discuss means you need to just have a discussion and show some insight. So there is if you look at the memo answer, and please look carefully at the mark allocation. If it's 3 marks, you need to have 3 good points to your answer. And if you look at the memo, it says credit valid alternative responses, which means they might accept something that is not directly on the memo if you have been able to discuss it successfully. Please note that 1.8 is a standard comprehension question, meaning that it will likely be used in all your comprehensions, where you have to comment on the final paragraph. I have given you a method to follow. This is a method that you can use to get the full marks for this answer. Please read through the memo answer, but if you use the method I've given, you will also definitely be able to get full marks for your answer. So remember that this type of question will be used in every comprehension, and there is a way to answer this type of question. And now we come to the questions about text B, which is the little cartoon about Dilbert. So once again, standard comprehension questions. They're going to ask you about text B. Please once again highlight the key words. Make sure you understand what you are being asked. And please read through the comprehension answer on the memo. 1.10 is about satire. You need to know what satire is. It's when you're creating humor from a serious issue. Remember our satirical comedians like Trevor Noah, who make fun of very serious issues and they show it in a light-hearted manner. There's always a reason satire is used. It's used to highlight certain issues in society. So please look carefully at what issues are being highlighted through this satire. When you're discussing any satire question, you can use the word highlight. Tell me what is being highlighted through the satire. Question 1.11 is once again a standard comprehension question where you are required to compare text A and text B. So once again, you underline your keywords and make sure that you answer about the keywords. Take note of the mark allocation. This is always a 4-mark answer. So you should be discussing text A for 2 marks and text B for 2 marks. Please state explicitly which text you are discussing. If you are referring to text A, you must say text A says this. Text B says this. Don't become vague. You must explain which text you are referring to.